Out this morning, and thank you. We had as Sarah mentioned, we had a wonderful event here last night, and it seems to me that the line that people react to with great vigor and enthusiasm is when I say that I'm always proud to be introduced by Sarah Palin, but I can't wait to introduce her to Washington, and that's quite a response. So I thank you this morning for coming out, and I want to assure you that if Governor Palin and I are elected in 46 days, we're not going to waste a moment in changing the way Washington does business, and we're going to start where the need for reform is greatest. In short order, we're going to put an end to the reckless conduct, corruption, and unbridled greed that have caused a crisis on Wall Street. Here and all across our country, people are wondering what exactly is happening on Wall Street, and with good reason. They want to know how their government will meet the crisis. Clear answers are hard to come by in Washington, D.C. As Senator Obama's leader in Congress memorably put it the other day, and I quote, "No one knows what to do." Perhaps given that reaction, it shouldn't surprise us that the congressional leaders of this do-nothing Congress also said that they weren't going to take action until after the election, that it wasn't their fault. And you know, I'm very hopeful that last night's discussions are a sign they have changed their mind and will take action soon. But any action they take should be designed to keep people in their homes and safeguard the life savings of all Americans by protecting our financial system. You know, my friends, there are plenty of places to point fingers, and it may be hard to pinpoint the original event that set all this in motion. But let me give you an educated guess. The financial crisis that we're living through today started with the corruption and manipulation of our home mortgage system. At the center of the problem were the lobbyists, politicians, and bureaucrats who succeeded in persuading Congress and the administration to ignore the festering problems at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These quasi-public corporations led our housing system down a path where quick profit was placed before sound finance. They institutionalized a system that rewarded forcing mortgages on people who couldn't afford them, while turning around and selling those bad mortgages to the banks that are now going bankrupt. Using money and influence, they prevented reforms that would have curbed their power and limited their ability to damage our economy. And now, as ever, the American taxpayers are left to pay the price for Washington's failure. 2 years ago, I called for reform of this corruption at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Congress did nothing. The administration did nothing. Senator Obama did nothing, and actually profited from this system of abuse and scandal. While Fannie and Freddie were working to keep Congress away from their house of cards, Senator Obama was taking their money. He got more, in fact, than any other member of Congress, except for the Democratic chairman of the committee that oversees them. And while Fannie Mae was betraying the public trust, somehow its former CEO had managed to gain my opponent's trust to the point where Senator Obama actually put him in charge of his vice presidential search. This CEO, Mr. Johnson, walked off with tens of millions of dollars in salary and bonuses. Guess for what? For services rendered to Fannie Mae, even after authorities discovered accounting improprieties that padded his compensation. Another CEO for Fannie Mae, Mr. Raines, has been advising Senator Obama on housing policy. This even after Fannie Mae was found to have committed, quote, extensive financial fraud under his leadership. Like Mr. Johnson, Mr. Raines walked away with, guess what? Tens of millions of dollars. Senator Obama may be taking their advice and he may be taking their money, but I want to tell you, in a McCain-Palin administration, there will be no seat for these people at the policy-making table. They won't even get past the front gate at the White House. My friends, this is the problem with Washington. People like Senator Obama have been too busy gaming the system and haven't ever done a thing to actually challenge the system. You know, we've heard a lot of words from Senator Obama over the course of this campaign, but maybe just this once, he could spare us the lectures and admit to his own poor judgment in contributing to these problems. The crisis on Wall Street started in the Washington culture of lobbying and influence peddling, and he was right square in the middle of it. The financial services industry, and there are many honest and honorable people who work in it, plays a vital role in our economy. Mutual fund companies help Americans save for retirement. Banks and lending companies provide the mortgages that help us buy our homes. Investment firms supply the seed money that helps the entrepreneurs create tomorrow's jobs. Insurance companies protect us against unknown risks. Yet, as the financial crisis continues and bailouts and bankruptcies mount, it's clear financial firms have lost the trust of the American people. That trust can't be regained unless we adopt some fundamental reforms. Government has a clear responsibility to act and to defend the public interest. That's exactly what I intend to do. First, to deal with the immediate crisis, I will lead in the creation of the Mortgage and Financial Institutions Trust, the MFI. The underlying principle of the MFI, or any approach considered by Congress, should be to keep people in their homes and safeguard the life savings of all Americans by protecting our financial system and capital markets. That has to be the fundamental principle. This trust will work with the private sector and regulators to identify institutions that are weak and fix them before they become insolvent. That's critical, before they become insolvent, unlike the RTC, who waited until they became insolvent. The MFI is an early intervention program to help financial institutions avoid bankruptcy, expensive bailouts, and damage to their customers. This will get the Treasury and other financial regulatory authorities in a proactive position instead of reacting in a crisis mode to one situation after another. The MFI will restore investor and market confidence, build sound financial institutions, assist troubled institutions, and protect our financial system while minimizing taxpayer exposure. This is a vital and important step, but it's not enough. I'll also take the additional actions needed to make sure a crisis like this is never allowed to build and break over the American people ever again.